Hello YouTube, thank you for stopping by. This is part one of what will be a multi-part video series on my 2x72-inch tilting belt grinder project based on the plans made by Jeremy Schmidt, a very talented YouTuber who is also a woodworker, metalworker, and maker. You can get his plans from his website, and I think it cost me something like 20 bucks. Quite a bargain if you ask me. Originally, I was planning on using a 3 horsepower DC treadmill motor that I had salvaged for this project. But when I got ready to start building this, I discovered that the motor was not a sealed motor and the grinder dust would get sucked into the motor and destroy it. I'll probably use the treadmill motor on my drill press now instead, but I digress. I had to save up a bit so I could purchase a decent 3 horsepower TEFC, totally enclosed fan-cooled motor. I decided to go with a 3-phase motor and use a VFD, variable frequency drive, to operate it. I found an inexpensive VFD with decent reviews on Amazon and a new, unused, open box surplus motor on eBay for a good price. The downside is that the motor is heavy, over 70 pounds, and it has a different type of mounting system than what is called for in Jeremy's plans. Long story short, I'm going to have to make some modifications to get this stuff to work right. I just took delivery of the motor, so let's check it out. So the motor is a fire pump motor. It's a high efficiency design, and it even has the owner's manual, and it's brand new. A little bit of shelf wear from being banged around inside a box, but the spindle rotates nice and smoothly. It's all very clean. Very happy with this purchase. So the first thing I want to do is work on a mounting plate which will attach to the front of the motor. And I've got a 10 by 10 piece of steel that I'm going to make a paper template and then drill some holes. So when I opened up the wiring box for the motor, I was greeted by 9 separate wires, which had me a little perplexed. I've never really dealt with any motors of this style before. And after a little research, I determined that this was either going to be a type Y or epsilon wiring scheme, or it'll be a delta wiring scheme. Either way, I had to do some research to figure out what I needed to do to get this hooked up so that I didn't smoke the motor. After doing some research, I was totally convinced that this was going to be a Y style or epsilon style motor, and was really close to wiring it up when all of a sudden I noticed this diagram right there next to the wiring box. Duh. So it actually is a Delta type motor. The wiring connections are slightly different from the Y style motors, and had I connected it incorrectly, I probably would have burnt up my motor, I'm guessing. Anyways, fortunately I didn't, and the motor's working fine. So silly me, I neglected to take a close look at the size of the terminal strip inside the VFD when I was wiring stuff together. I had in my mind the desire to use 10 gauge wire, and a typical ring connector for a terminal strip on a 10 gauge wire is much bigger than what would fit on the terminal strip of the VFD. Rather than rewiring everything that I had already assembled, I decided that I would make some adapters that would allow me to use 10 gauge solid wire onto these terminal strips and retain some of that 10 gauge goodness. So this is a pictorial representation of what I did to make these adapters. On the left, you see a ring connector that almost fits the 10 gauge wire if I force it through. I stripped the plastic off, elongated the hole so that it would actually fit between the insulating walls of the terminal strip. I forced the copper wire through. You can see it's got a bit of a gap where it crimps, and then crimped it back together tightly and then soldered it. And I basically did the same thing at the other end. I shortened these copper wires. They're only about an inch or so long, and soldered those to butt end connectors, and then shrink wrapped everything together. So it turned out pretty solid, and it works, and it's 10 gauge all the way through to the terminal strip, which is what I really wanted. So here is the VFD with the 10 gauge stranded wires connected via butt end connectors to the solid copper 10 gauge wire adapters with ring terminal ends that actually fit into the terminal strip. Everything's solid. I've got 10 gauge all the way through to the terminal strip, so I'm really happy about how this turned out. Okay, so I've got the VFD, variable frequency drive, wired up for 220 volts input with a 3-phase output. I've got my 220 volt 3-phase motor wired up. I've got a twist lock plug to connect the two in case I ever want to take the motor or the VFD off the belt grinder without having to completely unwire everything. The first thing I'm going to do is just verify the source voltage, the wall voltage, and I'll do that off camera here. Okay, so 235 volts. Okay, so we've got our voltage, our supply voltage set. I'm going to plug in the VFD now. Eventually I'm going to have a breaker or an on-off switch for the supply to this one. Right now it's wired directly. Okay, let's get this propped up on something. Okay, so let's go to run mode. Fan kicks in. So very slow at 3. That's 12 hertz, 20 hertz, 30, 40, 50, 60, 65 hertz. So I dial it down to 0. Let's go back up. So I'm at max. It'll go to 65 again. Now if I press stop, and if we go run, very cool. I'm liking this. All right, so now we have to check to see whether or not it keeps all those settings when I pull the plug. So just as I was getting ready to leave, the display went dark. So we'll go ahead and plug it back in and see if my settings are still there. Okay, plugged in. It remembers 65 as that. So let's go to program P1 or P2? P1. Remember, 60. Okay. All right. I'm going to unplug this thing again. See you in a few. So I neglected to get it on film, but my buddy Tom came over and he brought a RPM gauge that he could hold onto the end of this shaft. And we got some RPM readings at various frequencies. So at its top speed, at 65 hertz, the motor's putting out 3,885 RPM, and down at 45, we're getting 2687 RPM. Anyways, we checked at various rates, so I did 30 and 20, 15. Took it all the way down to 3 hertz. So 3 hertz, it still spins. It's 170 RPM. But it doesn't have any torque at all, 0 torque. I can grab onto it while it's dirty. I can stop it with my hand with ease. 5 RPM, I'm sorry, 5 hertz gives me 291 RPM, but I can still stop that with my hand. It isn't until you get up to 10 hertz, and that's 593 RPM. And finally, you've got some torque. I might have been able to stop it by hand, but I'd probably hurt my wrist. So, what's the point? The real question was, are we sacrificing torque at the lower speeds? And the short answer is yes. Yes, we are. Anyways, so something else that I didn't get on film was the fact that the motor is going to be in this orientation when it's on the grinding, on the belt grinder frame, and when this is in forward mode, oh, that's something else I didn't show you. We've got forward and reverse. It'll automatically stop and reverse. It gradually goes up to speed. Press reverse. I'm digressing. There you go. See? So cool, so cool. I love this. So forward and reverse functions. Anyways, I noticed that when the VFD is in forward mode, the motor was spinning clockwise, which is not the direction I want it to spin in forward mode, because in the belt grinder I want it to spin counterclockwise, so the belt is coming off the motor and towards me, or off the motor, and so the sparks go down rather than up into my face. So in order to change that, I simply disconnected two of the phases from the motor and swapped them, and that reversed the direction the motor turns. My motor's output shaft has a 1 1/8 diameter shaft. I mean, it's probably a quarter. I haven't measured it yet, but it's probably a 1/4 inch keyway. Most of the wheel sets for belt grinders out there are for 5/8 shafts, so this is basically twice that, or thereabouts. Anyways, I found one set so far that has the correct bore size for the drive wheel. I was also thinking about the belt tracking and whether or not any of these bolts are going to be an issue. I might have to take one or two of these out, do a countersink into this plate and put a flathead bolt in it. Yeah, I guess that's about it for now. The next phase of this project will be building a cart for this whole apparatus to sit on. Once that's built, I'm going to move this onto the cart just for storage purposes while I start building the actual frame. I've got a lot of metal, a lot of steel up here and down here to build this frame out of. I'm going to have to do a lot of reinforcing because this motor is so freaking heavy. It's over 70 pounds, and yeah, I probably should have bought a smaller motor. But yeah, bigger is better, isn't that what they say? Okay, that's it for now. Talk to you later. Bye.